Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again. I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in theatrical and streaming horror movies. Each week, the Gruesome Magazine Grue-Crew and I would take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing Under Paris, which is available streaming on Netflix beginning at June 5th, 2024. Yes, shock movie. We got to show a shocking. All right, let me introduce the crew, starting off with Crystal Cleveland the Livi6dead6irl. How you doing?
I'm fabulous. I'm really excited about this French film.
French.
I do love French films. French horror movies are amazing. Okay, that sounded like insincere.
Like
I know. I was like, that sounds so insincere. The French know how to make some really messed up horror movies. They're some of my favorites. So.
They do.
Yeah, this one's not that, but you'll see
in a different way, maybe. It might be messed up. All right. Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore, also known as Christopher Scorsese.
Yes. Viva la Jaws movies. That's all I got to say. Although after watching this, I kept hearing gurgles in my house, so I don't know.
Oh my God, you jerk. That's so funny.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Anyway, I thought I heard something. Anyway, I'm doing well.
Oh,
why do you have
such
that?
a card?
Like, what is that?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's the perks of Alamo Draft House, where you go to the Jaws movie party screening, and they give you like a
foam hat.
That's awesome.
It also helps with the bits on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beat that, awesome. Crystal, in your face.
Awesome.
You bastard.
All right, we're getting ready to review the film. We're going to start off giving you our first impressions. Those first impressions will be spoiler-free, and then we'll dive into a discussion. We will get into spoilers and surprises and other gory goodies, and then we'll wrap things up with our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. And there's a few to choose from. This is a fun film, and we hope you enjoy not only this review but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, please hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend buttons. Each click will help us find more horror fans just like you. All right, let's take a look at the card and get things going here. Boink. Under Paris 2024, Netflix, available streaming on Netflix beginning June 5th, 2024. The synopsis says, in order to save Paris from an international bloodbath, a grieving scientist is forced to face her tragic past when a giant shark appears in the Seine. Directed by Xavier, written by Yannick, Dahan, Xavier, and Maud Heywang. I'm going to go with that. And the cast includes a lot of names I'm going to mispronounce, but here we go. Bérénice, Bejo, Léviant, excuse me, Sandra, Parfait, Aksel, Ustun, Aurélia, Petit, and Marvin, Dubart. I think it's Dubart. I'm going to say it's Dubart, but I'm going to be wrong. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, I'm wrong.
I know some of that for sure. I was like, but it was.
If it isn't special. Smith and Johnson, it's gonna be wrong.
Someone broke a baguette on the other side of the world when you said that.
A baguette over my head. Yes.
That's funny. Yeah.
Doc, run!
Sacre bleu.
Sacre.
Them Americans, I can't even say the name.
Sacre poo.
I've long offended the entire country of France long time ago. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the review, find out what our first impression was. Christopher, you're in the right spot, so we'll start with you.
Yes.
This is one of the better shark films to come out in a very long time, I'll say.
Nice.
I mean, and I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not as big a fan as Doc is about shark films, but I think this is really well done. This feels like a French environmental take on Jaws.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you even have a mayor, and this time you have environmental people. They're just as causing as much trouble as the mayor. So yeah, I think it's got some really. It's also I feel like it has a little bit of Jurassic Park in there, where shark tooth life finds a way. I mean, there's a lot of different elements, and I think
I like that.
I think the one thing that really makes this even more interesting is that it's not all the same environments, because I think a lot of like shark films they're just all in the same piece of water, you know. We're in this other piece of blue water here, another piece of blue water here. Here you've got like water that's got all kinds of, you know, plastic junk in it. You've got another piece. It's like the sediment on the French River. You know, there's the catacombs. So you've got all these different areas where you see these different where these sharks kind of pop up and stuff. And I think you have really I think you have really great characters that really are defined from the get-go. From the main sort of character who, you know, had sort of like those main events you see in every kind of film, whether it's Cliffhanger or the captain in Jaws. They've all dealt with these specific things and they have to sort of deal with it again. And she reminds me almost like a French version of Rachel Ward, if you remember the movie Against All Odds. And I think also you just see it. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a movie that deals with the police on the river. You know? So, and the whole time I'm also thinking, like, how do they shoot a lot of this? And I was trying to figure out, like, because I think a lot of films they shoot dry for wet, you know, to pull off, and this one felt like it was shot in water. So if there's parts that aren't, I might, you know, you blew my mind. I mean, I will say that there are a few moments where the CGI shark do pop out of the water, literally, and it's kind of obvious. Probably not to the level of Sharknado, but it's there. But there were other parts that's like, is that a real shark? So I think they do a really great job of having these characters in these really environments. And there's moments where I was like, oh crap. I do not want to be in their swimsuit, because that's a location I do not want to be right now. There's literally one that's like crap. So yeah, and it definitely doesn't shy away from people being killed. And
oh yeah.
So yeah, I think I think it's a really well done. It's got really great acting in it. It's got all kinds of interesting characters, and overall, I think this is a definitely a triumph. I think the only thing that I kind of wish I'd seen this on a big screen, because I think this would be a really great movie to see in the theater. And I think sadly, I think some people may shy away from it because it's French with subtitles. And I think this is one of those instances where you need to work through it. Okay, get over yourself and watch it, because this is a really well done shark movie, that killer shark movie that's really that kind of ramps it up as it goes along, especially when certain things start happening. I mean, there's even they even make well, I don't want to speak to a spoiler, but there's even a part where they have a shark on a table that almost feels like Aliens. So
oh yeah.
So yeah, it's got a lot of great moments, great acting, and definitely doesn't go where you think it'd go at the ending either. I was kind of wow. I was not expecting that. So yeah, overall, I think this movie is a triumph, and I think a lot of people need to see it now that it's on Netflix. Don't let it get buried. Go watch it.
Excellent. Crystal, what was your first impression of Under Paris?
Well, I agree with Christopher for the most part. I mean, actually, I totally enjoyed it, but I will say, do not go in expecting a masterpiece. This is not as poorly made as a sci-fi original, but it's also not that far off. I'm just being honest.
At times,
yep. It's better, much better, and the quality is better, and the story is better, and the acting is better. So everything is better than a sci-fi original. But there was definitely some moments I was like, yes, there we go. Which actually made me laugh. This movie made me laugh a lot, actually. Some of the choices that the characters made were so ridiculous. It's so, and this movie's insane. That's why it's funny. It's literally insane. Like, I'll just tell you, it's like in the first scene, a character gets dragged down into the water by a shark. after she'd already been in the water for how long? So like let's just say she never would have made it back up. Needless to say, she does. And then you see a hand floating. This movie's awesome and awful, but in a good way. Like in a good, fun, ridiculous, I love my shark movies way. It's not Sharknado silly, okay? Like it's not, it's like it's trying to be serious, but it's got to know that it's poking fun at itself because the ending proves that. I mean, literally, I'll say there's another movie that it reminds me of, and that's Team America. When they destroy
wow.
Oh,
I wasn't expecting that.
When they destroy Paris, do you not remember that?
Yeah,
it's like, oh no, we're coming in to save you. And then what happens? They literally level the entire city.
Spoiler.
I didn't say that they did that in this movie. I'm talking about what they did in Team America.
Oh, Team America. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of sang it by saying it's like Team America.
I don't think anybody's going to figure out what.
No, I don't think so.
No, you won't understand. No. Yeah, there's marionettes that have sex. That's what she's talking about. Same thing as Team America.
But that was.
Don't pull my strings, Christopher.
Hilarious to me because I was like, oh my gosh, it just keeps getting bolder and wilder. And I do like the scientific like stuff that they came up with that really obviously it's very thin
movie science.
But I'm okay with that. You know what? It's like throw in some quantum physics, and there we go. That's my favorite sci-fi films. Nothing makes sense. Use some quantum physics tape, and that's all good. But yeah, the bottom line is this movie's fun. It's super fun. Like I would watch it again. So that's saying a lot. I do love shark movies though. So I do have a thing for them. Even when they're bad, I usually enjoy them. But this one is, like Christopher mentioned, it is definitely better than so many shark films. Definitely better. And there's lots of sharks. So it's very cool like that. The underwater shots are beautiful too. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't know if they're shot underwater. It seemed like they were. It looked legit to me. It was really nice. The shots were, cinematography is beautiful. Sounds good. Acting's good. Yeah. I mean,
the fact that it's in a river with 15 feet, it makes it it helps that
it doesn't feel like
the ocean,
that.
Right?
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
And that's what's so funny about it. I was like, oh yeah, felt like we were in the ocean, so that worked for me. I don't care.
There you go.
I'll buy it. Mm-hmm.
I had a great time with this too. I like shark movies, so I'm predisposed to enjoy it. But that we've had some stinkers in the past little bit. This one is definitely the best of this year thus far. It's better probably in the past couple years. I mean, I like The Shallows and was it 47 Meters Down, or and Meg for its own self, but it's kind of sitting over here being happy. This movie's a lot of fun. It's really well directed by Xavier. The lead actress is fantastic to follow, and so is her love interest. I think they're not literally a love interest, but there's a connection between them. So use that. Use that loosely. And there's characters you care about that end up maybe not making it through the whole movie, which I was surprised by. It's like, oh well, that was bold. The sharks look great in the water. There was a couple times, like Christopher said, when they jump out of the water, it gets a little like hokey, but at the same time, I appreciated them jumping out of the water in such a way. It did remind me of a couple really bad Jaws ripoffs from the 80s. But anyway, for me, I think I spoke about this before the show and the pre-show, but to me, it has like kind of shared DNA, probably the closest one in a while to Jaws and to Deep Blue Sea. It really kind of blends those two together because it has that, it wants to be serious. The lead character takes everything very seriously. There's never a tongue in the cheek for her. The mayor, full tongue in cheek. And then you've got everybody in between. And so she's fantastic. And a lot of supporting characters are really fantastic. The effects, are often really, really good. Sometimes they're hokey, but at the same time, I never went, oh, I don't like this movie because it's, I mean, it was kind of like, oh, well, that's CGI, but it didn't really ruin it for me. It was kind of like, okay, I mean,
that's fine.
Because other elements of it, when she's in the water, like literally sometimes face to face to this really giant shark,
scary.
It really looks great. I mean, the composition's fantastic. And because the water's not clear blue water, it's kind of green and murky, and there's yuck kind of floating around that you would see in the river if you were under it. But so it has a different feel in that respect, and I appreciate that. And the catacombs areas were really cool.
Yeah.
There's a couple shots that are like, yikes, what do you do when you look up and that's swimming around over top of your head? But and I appreciate anytime they do something Chekhov's gun-ish, and they do something really big with that here that worked out really well. And we'll get into that in the spoilers. So in the end, yeah, I had a good time. I needed to have a good time, and this fit the bill. Yes, I would watch it again as well, Crystal. I think this is a blast. I think it's definitely worth watching on Netflix for sure. And Christopher, I agree. I'd love to have seen this on a big screen. It would have been so much fun with a crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest struggles with having a film that's set in water, it's hard to really make it believable and shoot it in something that sells what's happening. And I think because of all the different environments, it changes it up so much. It makes it more interesting than a lot of the shark films we normally see. And the whole time I'm like, because they almost had like almost like the abyss type things. I'm wondering if they made those things just for the movie, or if those real.
They are real.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is last time I went on an excursion on a cruise, not this last time we went in February, but before that, the guy had one. He had the whole outfit.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we were all given masks and everything, and he brought his own gear.
But I was thinking just the incorporation of special effects and stuff within the environment's kind of difficult sometimes, and I think sometimes I think there are limitations budget wise, because they're having to shoot in all these different areas of Paris. That made me wonder.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that made because I think there's even. It's just me being nitpicky of special effects, but because there's parts where they start that triathlon thing, and you kind of see there might be the edges of like green screens and stuff. But but yeah, I think they did a great job of the shark showing up in different environments, but yeah, I think there's some really tense scenes. Because there's that, I guess we're already in Spoilerville, right?
Yeah, we're in spoilers.
There's that one scene where they're at the bottom and they're trying to set the trap, and there's all the freaking sharks going above them. I was like,
I know that's a great shot in it with them circling.
I think I would die because there would be crap bubbling up from us from my skin suit, because I would have crapped if I saw that. So, but yeah, I did that. I think it.
The Taco Bell bubbles going up into the
that would be terrible. Yeah, I think overall, I think it's, but I think they did a great job with that. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where it has like a big budget sensibility, but also there's like the indie level things that kind of pop in from time to time, which is probably what Crystal's thinking about in certain scenes. But yeah, there's certain things like and granted, probably the whole movie wouldn't happen if the woman hadn't done what she did at the beginning, but I don't know.
Well, she I loved how they're like, it was all your fault. And then someone's like, no, it's not. I was like, well, yeah, it really was her fault. She asked them to stay out there. Like, she was clear. They were like, I don't feel safe. We need to get back. She's like, oh, no.
Poke it. Yeah. Poke it with your stick.
I know best. And it's like, no, it really was her fault. Totally was her fault.
And I don't know what she'd be able to do jumping in there with just a...
Oh, I know. With her, oh God, little harpoon.
The kind of pulling that.
Doing.
Well, it's sort of like the what was it, the Godzilla movie, where it could just act like I can. I mean, it's basically what the environment. I kind of I thought it was kind of interesting how they kind of walked the line with the environmental aspect of it, especially
Mhm.
people who are into like ocean
Yeah.
animals and like, oh, we need to treat animals like we treat humans.
Need
And
to
stuff.
save the
And
shark. And
yeah, so almost like they became sort of quasi villains as well, because
Of course.
you really don't know what.
I don't think they were on their side particularly. I think that they made a little case, but then as soon as you realized what you're actually dealing with, you know, that was actually really funny.
Well, and then they end up just running over each other and just showing how
yeah.
much of a coward
Horrible
they truly
people.
are.
Oh my
Mhm.
god! Oh, knocking everybody into the water.
Yeah.
There
That
was
was
a lot of
awesome.
really cool effects with that scene, you know, in the catacombs when they were pulling people out and there's no legs and no
I mean,
arms.
yeah, the
Like,
hysteria
really well done.
of
Yeah.
everybody was just like, oh God. I mean, these people are just, I mean, granted, I guess you can never know in that kind of situation how people are going to react, but if something's coming after you, you're just, a lot of people are for themselves. And even when
Of
people
course.
trying to help pull them in,
Yep.
they get pulled in. It's like crap.
You see all
And
these fleshy
the
bits
fact that they
bouncing them.
just killed, I mean, they killed everybody.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's the death toll is very high. In this.
Yes,
This is not one of those films where don't get
Oh, that was
dedicated to any
awesome.
specific character.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't. I mean,
I was like,
nobody.
oh God.
This isn't
Well,
one of those films where it's like, this specific character is not going to be killed off. Or that this character is not going to be killed off. No, there's not many people are going to survive this.
Yeah.
it's like they're definitely gonna kill you.
I think the only thing that I kind of missed, I kind of wish they'd shown the mayor.
Yeah, someone the mayor getting.
I kind of I think that was a disappointing element.
But we don't know what really happened. Did we ever see her actually survive?
No, you just see her twirling in the water.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
her assistant and some of the others. Yeah, because there's whole shenanigans with the live munitions that are at the bottom of the river that go off, and then I don't know, there's some kind of crazy flood somehow, and I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. Although I was like, are there really like munitions at the bottom of the?
I know that is so scary.
A couple world wars went through there. So,
that's true.
especially France.
I mean,
right?
it's possible. That is.
Oh, they find them all over the place, don't they?
I guess so, but there was a lot of.
There was a lot.
So, like what I was saying with Team America, like Team America comes in to try to help the city, right? They're like, don't worry, we're gonna save you. And then they just obliterate Paris. They're like, look, we're the heroes. That's how I felt like this was. Like the army guys, when they're circling and just trying to, I'm like, what is happening here? This has gone off the rails. And then they set off that explosion, which sets off. I mean, literally, they leveled Paris. That was hilarious.
They did. They flooded.
That was the funniest thing. Yeah, I was like, so it's Team America, basically. That's what I felt like. Really
interesting final shot, though. Kind of like. Nice.
Well, I guess I guess it made me wonder. I guess I don't have a good idea of how Paris is. Do they have a dam that holds back water, or I guess they have the
I thought it was underground
right?
water. That's what
they were talking about some locks, so there could be something could have happened.
Because I would assume that if it was just underground, then maybe the water would go down, but. I guess they were some sort of like I was thinking like in like Louisiana, I think like New Orleans and stuff around that area, they have like certain things set in so that it doesn't flood.
Levees, the levees. Yeah.
So I'm thinking there might be that with that, considering there's a river that goes throughout Paris. So yeah, I think again that was very surprising. I didn't expect that big ass like Bruckenheimer ending. On this little, I just expected this because it's a very simple. In some ways, it's a very simple shark movie. It's very limited to certain characters, so it's kind of small in that respect. And granted, you have like a triathlon, but it's still small in how its scope. And so, like that ending just goes like full like Planet of the Apes to some degree. Yeah. It's like, what is happening here? This is kind of turned into Independence Day by the end.
Triathlon was just a good excuse to get people in the water.
Yeah, and if you, I think the end credits they just show how the sharks are invading all over the world.
Isn't that great?
So I was like, I want to see some.
I like movies. I like the final shot when they're on top of some kind of. I mean, they're in the water, but they're on top of like a little something. I don't know what they were on top of. But anyway, then the fins come up, and all the sharks are swimming around. You start seeing more and more sharks. And
is it over?
Is it over? Nope, it's just
yeah.
But it does have that.
Paris.
It does want to have that deep blue sea element where Samuel Jackson. It tries to do that a couple times. It almost succeeds. It's just not as shocking.
Except the LL Cool J character doesn't pop up at the end with his parrot.
Yep. So. Oh no, he doesn't. he might. You need to just wait. He might. I didn't watch it all the way to the very end.
So many of the characters are just killed off for. Well, the thing is, you can't hide the fact that people's arms and legs. There's a lot of people that get ripped apart in this film.
There are.
It starts out slow though, and then all of a sudden, but okay, it doesn't start off slow. I can't say that. The movie's never really slow, but I didn't think we were going to get a lot of like kills at first because of the way they handled that first bit, and then it's just murderous mayhem.
Well, I think the marketing is kind of hidden the fact that you just think it's going to be one shark, and then you find out.
I like they hid that.
And then you're like, oh no, it's got multiple babies. Oh no.
Yeah,
and then each one of those has babies.
Right.
And
you only have to live 2 weeks before they start having babies, right?
Like gremlins.
2 months. 2 months.
Right. That's okay. 2 months is too short. It's awful. It's very scary.
So anyway, it's a very successful. It's good and gory. It's kind of silly at times, but yet at the same time, it doesn't disrespect the idea of a shark film, and I think it's a good blend.
I agree.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and give our score 1 to 5 and pick worst favorite scene. Christopher, you are up first.
I'm going to give this the 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the better shark films I've seen in a while. And I think it works in creating tension and atmosphere and stuff. But again, I think the few moments where you see the CGI sharks a little too well, it kind of like, oh no, we're going back to the Sharknado territory. But still, I didn't mind it that much. But I think my score would have been higher if we hadn't had as much of the obvious CGI sharks at points. But other parts, it felt like it was real sharks. As for favorite scene, I think I'm just gonna have to give it to where they're trying to set up the trap, and then they look up and there's like thousands of freaking sharks,
thousands of sharks,
hundreds of sharks, I guess. But yeah, there's so many sharks, and I was like, this is
all going around in a big circle. Oh,
this is not going to bode too well for these people. You sneeze and you're a goner. So I think that I got tense just watching that scene.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, there's a few scenes that you get that tension, like when she's cutting open the shark or other things. You're like, oh no, what's going to happen here? But yeah, that scene specifically made me kind of like curl up in a fetal position. It's like, I'm not going to go in the water in France either.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the river. All right, Crystal, what was your score 1 to 5 and favorite scene?
Okay, I'll give it a 4 as well. Like,
nice.
Yeah, it's really good for a shark film. Like, I might not have given it a 4 if it wasn't a shark film, but because it is, it deserves a little bit extra, a little bump.
Okay,
just a little bump, you know. I am sorry, but it has got to be when the freaking army comes in, guns blazing, running in that circle. Y'all don't even understand when that started happening. I was dying. I was like, what?
There's another guy on the bridge going.
And there's a sniper. There's a freaking sniper trying to snipe the shark. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I love it.
It's hilarious. And everybody's trying to tell him, stop! Like they're going to hear him over top all the gunfire.
So dumb. That was amazing. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
And the domino effect from that is awesome.
Even though it didn't work, that's even better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it worked for the sharks. I enjoyed the heck out of this. I'm going to give it 4.25.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's
It
a lot.
is.
It really it brings some nods, but in a very interesting way to Jaws. You know, we have the shark opening the shark scene. We've got, but the one is when it goes through the net. And it has a little balloon and the little things at the top. And I was like, oh, that's great. That's a great way to do it without, feeling cheap. So I give him credit for all that. So my favorite scene is leading up to it is a bit silly, but the result of it worked. And that's when it comes out of the catacombs, busts out of the catacombs, literally. But there's this great shot of it face to face with her in the water.
Oh yeah. Oh God, that's terrifying to me. I'm like,
and it's so big, but it implies that there's some connection between the two, because it never goes after her. It always just goes by her. It looks at her and goes by her. And I'm trying to figure out if that's just convenient, or is there something there that I missed?
Probably both.
But there is another scene I want to mention, though. I'm going to cheat. Okay. And we talked about this on the pre-show as well. I said there's a Chekhov's gun kind of situation. They find they find these munitions under the water, so they know there's a bunch of munitions. They got some of them, but not all. And then when they start firing the guns, they're like, stop, there's munitions. And there's this great shot of one of them going, floating up and coming down, and as it hits, you just see the end of it go chunk and goes off. And it was just such a satisfying, simple shot. I really liked it. And then of course it has a domino effect, and they all start blowing up, and it follows with the shot of them all rising up, and you're like, oh yeah. And then everything, I was not prepared for all the bridges to be blown up too.
I think it's a bold choice that I don't think anybody was expecting, so I give props to them. I mean, it goes off into a bonkers place.
Yep.
But I mean, that also makes it kind of stand out from the rest of them, where it's just like, oh, we killed the shark, so everybody's happy, but no. no. Now there's more sharks. And
but that ending, can they even have another one after? I mean, because that's insane. Come on. Like,
well, they could tell stories a different part of the world if with the shark.
Like the sharks.
Yeah, I mean, it might not be that one shark, but
there's a lot of rivers.
They could. I mean, if people can you imagine like a futuristic Paris where everything's underwater?
Oh, that'd be cool. Like, yeah.
The sharks the mayor. Yeah.
Sharks the mayor?
Sharks the mayor.
Shark's Tale?
Yeah, Shark's Tale.
Paris edition?
Yeah.
All right. I wonder if Disney Paris is underwater. I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
Under the sea.
Under the sea. Oh my God, that's hilarious. All right. With that, I think that's a cue for our exit. Crystal, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
No problem.
All right, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night. Gruesome Magazine.